right, good evening. I'd like to call the Zoning Board of Appeals for Tuesday, May 7th, 2024 to order. Will the city call the roll, please?
Yes, ma'am. Ms. Defoe.
Here.
Mr. Friedman.
Here.
Mr. Rogers.
Here.
Ms. Libet. Mr. Jenkins.
Present.
Mr. Havas. Madam Chair, you have a quorum to conduct business.
Thank you. Are there any communications?
Not at this time.
Okay, so we will move into our public hearing. For those of you who haven't joined us before, let me briefly describe how we conduct business. We'll call the case by the case number. The city will read a brief description of the case. We ask you as the appellant to step up to the podium. There's a sign-in sheet if you'll sign in with your name and address, and then state your name and address for the record as well, and then explain to us what you're asking for and why. Then the city will read findings of fact. We'll ask you to agree with those facts or add any other facts at that time. Then the city will give a recommendation. You also can speak after they give their recommendation if you have anything further to say. Then we'll open it up to public comment. So if there's anyone here who wishes to speak on a case, that would be your opportunity to step forward and provide any comments. Then we'll turn it over to the board to discuss and potentially ask you questions. So we just ask the appellant to stay at the microphone while we discuss the case. And we'll guide you along so you don't have to remember all that. Will the city call the first case, please?
Yes, ma'am. Elton Eaton, owner, is requesting the following waiver from the board to construct an attached one-story, 336-square-foot garage with a non-conforming side yard setback, 7 feet 9 inches proposed, 10 feet required. The property is located on the north side of Maryland Street between Pierce Street and Hardin Circle at 16410 Maryland Street, Sidwell parcel 2425252-007, zoned R3, single-family residential. This appeal is to Section 5.193, Article 22, Chapter 45 of the City Code, more commonly known as the zoning ordinance.
Okay, thank you. Is the appellant here? Yeah, if you could step to the microphone, please.
What?
And if you could both introduce yourselves and state your name and address for the record, please. And you do have to kind of step close to the microphone or pull it down.
I'm Tabitha Eaton, and the address 16410 Maryland Street, Southfield.
Thank you.
I'm Elton Eaton, address 16410 Maryland Street in
Great.
Southfield, Michigan.
Thank you. And if you could explain to us, either one of you, what you're asking for and why, please.
We're actually looking to build a one-car garage, and from my understanding, it's going to be a little bit larger than the zoning by 3 feet, a little less than 3 feet. So we're looking for a variance to allow that.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Will the city read the findings of fact, please?
Yes, ma'am. Findings of fact, case 24-09. The appellant, Elton Eaton, owner, is requesting the following waiver from the board to construct an attached one-story, 336-square-foot garage with a non-conforming side yard setback, 7 feet 9 inches proposed, 10 feet required. The property is located on the north side of Maryland Street between Pierce Street and Hardin Circle at 16410 Maryland Street, Sidwell parcel 2425252-007, zoned R3, single-family residential. This appeal is to Section 5.193, Article 22, Chapter 45 of the Southfield City Code, more commonly known as the zoning ordinance. The properties to the north, south, east, and west are zoned R3, single-family residential, and are developed with single-family homes in the Kentfield Manor Subdivision Number 1. Field inspection of the surrounding area reveals the properties to the north, south, east, and west are mostly of two-story single-family dwellings. The exteriors are made of mostly brick and siding. Most of the homes in the area have attached garages, except for a few homes that have detached garages. The construction of surrounding property ranges from 1,500 to 3,000 square feet. Surrounding properties are mostly legal conforming and setback and lot coverage requirements. The subject property was built in 1967 and is 1,413 square foot, two-story single-family residence with an attached garage on a full basement. The appellant proposes to construct a garage addition on the west side of the residence to create a 336 square foot addition to the existing garage. The subject property is a legal conforming single-family residence. Variance request is for 2 feet 3 inch reduction in side yard setback. 7 feet 9 inches proposed, 10 foot required.
Okay, thank you. Do you agree with those facts? Okay.
Yes.
All right, any other facts you'd like to add at this point?
No.
Okay, no problem. Will the city read the recommendation, please?
Yes, ma'am. Staff recommendation is for favorable consideration of the following waiver for a 2 feet 3 inch reduction in side yard setback, 7 feet 9 inches proposed, 10 feet required, with the following conditions. The appellant secures all required permits and clearances to construct a new garage addition to the residence in the city of Southfield. The new garage addition meets the requirements of the 2015 Michigan Residential Code. This recommendation is based on the following. Due to the existing legal conforming residence on the parcel, the strict application of the ordinance would result in impractical difficulties and hardship to the owner and would not impair the intent and purpose of the ordinance. The request waiver for setback is minor in nature and would not have an adverse effect upon adjacent or surrounding properties.
Okay, thank you. Anything else you'd like to add before we discuss?
No.
Okay. All right, so we will open it up to public comment. If there's anyone from the public who wishes to speak on this case, now would be your opportunity. And seeing none, we'll close public comment and turn it over to the board. Mr. Rogers?
I don't have an issue with it. They have a very large side yard currently that looks like it could use an addition. And 2 feet, 3 feet is not a big deal. 2 feet, 3 inches is not a big deal.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Friedman?
I have no issues with it.
All right, Mr. Jenkins?
I have no issues, I'd just like to make a comment. The main thing, it will have no adverse effect on the adjacent or surrounding properties, which is good for the neighbors, so I'm happy with that. And it's pleasant to have anybody that wants to do something in our community. So that's where I'm coming from.
Okay, thank you. I think the request is minor, and I'm happy to also support it. Mr. Rogers, will you make a motion for us?
Sure. In regards to ZBA case 24-09, the appellant, Elton Eaton, owner, is requesting the following waiver from the board to construct an attached one-story, 336-square-foot garage with a non-conforming side yard setback, 7 feet 9 inches proposed, 10 feet required. Property is located on the north side of Maryland Street between Pierce Street and Hardin Circle at 16410 Maryland Street. Tax parcel 2425252007, zoned R3, single-family residential. I make a motion to approve the waiver being requested for a 2 foot 3 inch reduction of side yard setback, 7 feet 9 inch proposed, 10 feet required, with the following conditions: that the appellant secures all the required permits and clearances to construct a new garage addition to a residence in the city of Southfield, and that the new garage addition meets the requirements of the 2015 Michigan Residential Code. I make this motion based on the following. Due to the existing legal conforming residence on the parcel, the strict application of the ordinance would result in impractical difficulties and hardship to the owner and would not impair the intent and purpose of the ordinance, and that the requested waiver for setback is minor in nature and would not have an adverse effect upon adjacent or surrounding properties.
Thank you. Can I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Your request is granted. Just continue to work with the building department on your permitting. Okay?
Thank
You all for staying after.
Thank you. Will the city call the next case, please?
Case number 24-10. The appellant Brian Crossley, representing the owner WJBK Broadcasting Incorporated, is requesting the following from the board: a variance of 2 feet of fence height for proposed security fencing, 6 feet permitted, 8 feet proposed. The property is located on the north side of 9 Mile Road between Southfield Road and Providence Drive, Sidwell parcel 2425376-001, located at 16550 West 9 Mile Road, Zone TVR, Television Radio Office Studio. This appeal is to Section 5.37-1, Article 4, Chapter 45 of the Southfield City Code, more commonly known as the zoning ordinance.
Thank you. Hi, good evening.
Hi, how are you?
Good. Could you state your name and address for the record, please?
My name is Brian Crosley, and I live at 424 Mason, Grosse Pointe Farms, Michigan, 48236.
Okay, thank you. And could you explain to us what you're asking for and why, please?
Sure. I work for Fox 2, and we have a 45-acre property that's surrounded by a mile of fence. The current fence has been there for over 50 years. It's a 7-foot fence with a 1-foot barbed wire top to it, and we're hoping to replace that. So we're requesting a variance of 2 feet above the 6-foot standard, so we can replace it with a newer, modern, better-looking fence.
Okay, thank you. Will the city read the findings of fact, please?
For ZBA case 24-10, the appellant Brian Crosley, representing the owner WJBK Broadcasting Incorporated, is requesting the following from the board. A variance of 2 feet of fence height for proposed security fencing, 6 feet permitted, 8 feet proposed. Property is located on the north side of 9 Mile Road between Southfield Road and Providence Drive. Sidwell parcel 2425-376-001, located at 16550 West 9 Mile Road, Zone TVR, Television Radio Office Studio. The subject property is developed with the WJBK Fox 2 Detroit Television Studio. Properties to the north are zoned R3 single-family residential and are developed with single-family homes fronting Bonsdale Avenue within the Mount Vernon Villas subdivision. The properties to the south across 9 Mile Road are zoned RC Regional Center and are currently undeveloped. The properties to the east are zoned RM Multiple Family Low Rise and RMU Multiple Family High Rise and are developed with the Oxley and Reserve of Southfield apartments respectively. Properties to the west are zoned R3 Single Family Residential and RM Multiple Family Low Rise and are developed with single-family homes on Bonsdale Avenue and the Vistas condominiums respectively. The site contains 38.7 acres of land with 1,307 feet of frontage on 9 Mile Road and a depth of 1,286 feet. The submitted commercial fence permit application indicates a 2-phase project. Phase 1 consists of replacement of the fence along the south property line, shifting the fence north by 5 feet from its current position. The proposed ornamental fencing is 8 feet in height and curved to be anti-climb. 2 sliding gates are proposed to be located over existing driveways and will remain open during normal business hours. Phase 2 consists of replacement of the fencing along the west, north, and east property lines with a black vinyl-coated 8-foot tall fence with 20-foot wide sliding gate at the northwest corner of the site, which will remain locked and will only be used for emergency access. The site currently has existing non-conforming 8-foot tall fencing with barbed wire around the entire site. Fencing was installed prior to our current fence ordinance, which was adopted in 2012. Since 2021, the Zoning Board of Appeals has granted 5 variances for fence height for 4 public or private utility and/or communication facilities within the city. ZBA cases 2240 and 2101 granted variances of 1 and 2 feet of fence height respectively on March 21st, 2023 and February 16th, 2021 for the Oakland County Water Authority property located at 22430 West 8 Mile Road. Variance of 2 feet of fence height was granted for the Great Lakes Water Authority property located at 20920 East Street as part of ZBA case 2017, approved on November 17th, 2020. Case 2231 granted 2 feet of fence height for the Verizon Wireless property located at 24242 Northwestern Highway, approved on November 15th, 2022. And most recently, 4 feet of fence height was granted for the ATC Watertown Data Center as part of case 2317 on September 12th, 2023.
Okay, thank you. Do you agree with those facts?
Yes.
Okay, any other facts you'd like to add at this time?
No, thank you.
Okay, will you read the city recommendation, please, or staff recommendation, please?
Staff's recommendation is to approve the variance requested based upon the following. The variance requested will not be obtrusive or injurious to surrounding properties, especially since the existing legal nonconforming 8-foot tall chain link fence has existed on the property since at least 2007 without issue or complaints. Replacement of the existing non-conforming fencing with barbed wire in favor of anti-climb ornamental fencing along 9 Mile, and replacement of the existing chain link chain link fencing with vinyl coated fencing for the remaining property lines will bring the property more into compliance with current fence regulations. Heightened site security is important to avoid broadcasting interruptions by protecting both the physical and virtual environment. Several other fence height variances have been granted for other similar quasi-public utility or communication properties within the city, and the request is still in keeping with the spirit and intent of the zoning ordinance.
Okay, thank you. Anything else you'd like to add before the board discusses? Okay. We'll also open public comment, but seeing no one here, we'll close public comment and turn it over to the board. Mr. Friedman?
I have no issues with it, but I just wanted to comment to staff. Staff mentioned that there have been 5 cases of this nature, which I remember. Perhaps this is something the city council can revisit if they ever revisit the fence ordinance to maybe restrict the 6-foot height to residential or something like that.
If I might, through the chair to Mr. Friedman, I was just speaking to Terry Crow, the city planner. I did bring up how we.
Can you speak up? I can hear.
Okay, I'm sorry. I was speaking to city planner Terry Crow about this, and I was kind of telling him about the proliferation of these fence height variances that we've seen recently. So we are going to propose something. We're doing some other cleanup language to our fence ordinance anyway. So we are going to be adding something, especially as it relates to, more public utility or properties that require an additional, security measures and things like that. So we are going to be addressing that.
Don't remember to mention the corner house
The corner,
portion of
the corner
fence
clearance
Yeah.
portion, yes. Mhm. Yes, for sure. So we are on that.
Okay, yeah, and
Thank you.
as I said, I have no issue with this one, as I haven't with any of the others.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Jenkins?
I have no issues, but in reviewing the proposal, I think this new fence will enhance the look and provide security overall, a better look and operation with sliding gates as well.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Rogers?
I think it's an attractive modification. It's fine by me.
Okay, great. I agree with my colleagues. I have no concerns, and again, it is nice to see, and thank you to the city staff for getting in front of some of these requests, and that will help reduce our caseload. So, Mr. Friedman, will you make a motion?
Sure. In regards to ZBA case 2410, the appellant Brian Crossley, representing the owner WJBK Broadcasting Incorporated, is requesting a variance of 2 feet of fence height for proposed security fencing, 6 feet permitted, 8 feet proposed at the property located on the north side of 9 Mile between Southfield Road and Providence Drive, Sidwell parcel 24253760001. I move that we approve the variance based on the following, that the variance will not be obtrusive or injurious to surrounding properties, especially since there's a legal non-conforming 8-foot tall chain link fence that has existed on the property, and replacement of existing non-conforming fence with that has barbed wire would favor an anti-climb ornamental fencing would be an upgrade, and heightened site security is important to avoid broadcasting interruptions, and the fact that we've approved several other variances for similar entities in the past, and that this request is in keeping with the spirit and intent of the zoning ordinance.
Thank you. Can I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, your request is granted. Just continue to work for the city on your permitting.
Great, thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, so that closes our public hearing. We do have 2 sets of minutes for our 2 April meetings. Did anyone have any edits or changes or concerns? Okay, can I have a motion to approve? We'll do them individually. A motion to approve the minutes for April 2nd?
So moved.
And can I,
Second.
thank you. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, can I have a motion to approve the minutes for April 16th?
So moved.
And can I have,
Second.
thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, minutes are approved. And then, looks like we have a special meeting scheduled for, what is that, 2 weeks from now, May 21st? Residential case on minimum square footage. So that will be the only thing on that meeting, since it's a special meeting. And then regular meeting on June 4th. 2 sign variance cases, it looks like. Anyone have any other miscellaneous? If not, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Thank you. Can I have a second? Thank you. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? We are adjourned.